you've seen people talk about the wonders of cleaning with vinegar. You would think vinegar is like the Messiah. People talk about it, they swear by it, they worship it. But can it clean everything that people really say it can? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about the do's and the don'ts of cleaning with vinegar, and we're going to decipher what you actually can and cannot be cleaning with it, because I hope this doesn't come as a surprise to you. There are some things that you're going to see online that simply aren't true. And let me just say, as a cleaning expert, my knowledge evolves. I learn new things as time goes by, as new research and information comes out. And there are things that I've said in the past, because listen, I've been talking about cleaning since 2011 right here. So yeah, I've said some things about cleaning with vinegar in the past. This is going to be the most current version of the information that I have based on my contacts, my research, and the information that I have come across. And if you're like, I'd rather clean with cat urine than vinegar because I find the smell that offensive, I want you to stick around until the end of this video, where I'm going to share with you a couple of ways that you can actually make your vinegar smell better. What we love vinegar for in cleaning is the fact that it can degrease and deodorize. What we have to be careful with is also vinegar's superpower. It's an acid, so it can be corrosive. That means you have to know what surfaces it is safe for and where you have to say no to the vinegar. The first place that I started using vinegar when I started cleaning was to clean windows and mirrors and other types of glass. And it is so good at doing this because, like I said, it is great at cutting grease. And it also is known for not leaving streaks behind. That's one of the reasons why people love ammonia-based glass cleaners. But vinegar is just so much cheaper, so much easier to come by, and it works just as well. So I've got a whole bunch of glass cleaning recipes that you can check out, incorporating things like cornstarch and essential oils and the right ratios. I've got a link down below for you to our 50 DIY cleaners ebook. It is awesome. But very quickly, when I do my glass cleaning, I just use equal parts water and white vinegar. I spray it on the surface. I use a flat weave microfiber cloth. I use an S pattern, nice groovy little S pattern, to get rid of the moisture and the product. And then I am left with a beautiful streak-free shine. Because people love using vinegar for DIY cleaning solutions, I will often see people talk about using vinegar on their countertops. And based on what I've seen from a lot of home reno shows over the past 10 or 15 years, people have stone countertops at home, and guess what? They don't like acids. They can start etching if acid is placed on their surface. What does that mean? It means you kind of see discoloration in the stone. It can lead to pitting, which is sort of like pock marks in the stone. That can eventually lead to cracking, or at the very least, it just gives you an uneven finish. So the idea here is you actually want to stay away from vinegar when it comes to cleaning stone countertops. How about using vinegar to deodorize your drains? Well, they can be quite smelly, and people suggest that you can boil up some vinegar and dump it down your kitchen or bathroom drain to help break down any of the smelly buildup that's causing that odor to emanate from your sink. So this is what I've done in the past. I've put a cup of baking soda into the drain. I've kind of, shaken it, pushed it down. Let it sit there because baking soda is a good deodorizer. And then I would take boiling vinegar. So I'd boil it in the kettle, get a little kettle cleaning in while you're at it, and then pour that down the drain. And what that does is it causes that lovely daycare science experiment that all the children enjoy, which is the big volcano from the reaction of the vinegar and the baking soda. So this is one of the only times where I think mixing vinegar and baking soda makes sense. And it does help, but I'm gonna say it helps to an extent. So if you have like an ongoing issue and your drain is smelly, it's probably indicative, that's probably a symptom that there's a larger issue that you need to deal with. You might need to use a proper store-bought product. You might need to call in a plumber to help you figure out what's going on. But for general drain maintenance, like a nice thing to do once a month, every 3 months, something along those lines, that feels safe to me. Now, I've also seen people say you shouldn't be pouring boiling hot anything down the drain if you have plastic pipes. So if you feel uncomfortable with this, please check with your friendly local plumber. Quick side chat on mixing vinegar and baking soda. For a long time, a lot of us in the cleaning space talked about mixing vinegar and baking soda and what a great cleaning product that was. However, when the chemistry behind it is better understood, and forgive me, I left my chemistry degree in grade 11, what we did learn is that actually mixing vinegar and baking soda neutralizes the two, and you get, in essence, diluted salt water. So really, it is not doing anything for you from a cleaning standpoint. If you do want the benefits of cleaning with both vinegar and baking soda, my recommendation is to clean in tandem. So start with one, clean that off, and then finish with the next so that you can get both benefits just without neutralizing or canceling out what you can gain. Now, how about cleaning stainless steel appliances? Vinegar is quite good at cleaning stainless steel appliances, specifically in getting rid of those fingerprints. This is the application that I use. I would mix equal parts water and vinegar, and just so you know, that is the standard way that I clean with vinegar. There are certain applications where I want to use it straight. Don't worry, I'll cover that. But for most of the average cleaning that we're going to do in a house, we're going to mix it. So you've got that equal parts vinegar and water. I'm looking at my fridge while I'm talking to you. You're going to spray it on the fridge or the appliance. You're going to let it sit for a sec, and then you're going to get yourself a flat weave microfiber cloth. In essence, you're going to treat the stainless steel the same way that you would treat glass or a window. We're using flat weave because we don't want to scratch our stainless steel. We're just going to use the S pattern and work our way down. If you need to, you've got an area with concentrated fingerprints, say around the handles. You can stick your finger over the cloth and kind of focus on that one little area, and then you should have a beautiful streak-free finish. We've talked about cleaning the exterior of our appliances. Now, when it comes to the interior of your refrigerator, you might notice that it's picked up some smells over time. That's because the inside of your fridge is made from plastic, and plastic, like our skin, is porous, so it can absorb odors. This is a perfect application for vinegar, which is a known deodorizer. So there are a couple of different ways that you can work vinegar into your cleaning routine for the fridge here. So if you're cleaning out your fridge, you can remove all of the items, remove the shelves, remove the drawers, and you can use a mixture of a little bit of dish soap, say a tablespoon of dish soap, a cup of vinegar, and a cup of water, and use that to spray everything down when you're doing your cleaning in the sink. You're going to scrub that and rinse well. But then when it comes to the inside of your refrigerator, like the plastic lining, what I would recommend after you've cleaned the interior, so let's say you've used a little bit of soap and water just to get rid of any of the marks or buildup that you see there, if you want to really give that extra deodorizing punch, just take a bowl of vinegar or a spray bottle, and if you're using a bowl, dip a cloth in there and wipe down the inside with plain white vinegar. If you're using a spray bottle, spritz it down. Let it sit for a couple of minutes, and then you can do a rinsing wipe to remove any excess. You might be worried about the vinegar smell. That will go away. And what vinegar's doing is it's neutralizing the odor that the plastic has absorbed. Vinegar is such a good descaler, and what I love about descaling kettles and coffee makers is that it's such a lazy job. Like, it really speaks to me. Because it's high impact and very low effort. So if you look inside your coffee maker or your kettle and you're seeing that kind of white crusty buildup, that is lime scale. So here's how you're going to fix it. Let's talk about the kettle. You're going to open it up and just pour vinegar up to the max fill line. Then you're going to boil your kettle. And you're just going to do literally anything else. Once it's boiled, you're going to dump it out, give your kettle a rinse. You might want to boil it up once more, just to get rid of that vinegar flavor, because you certainly don't want vinegar Earl Grey, and move on with your life. Done, easy, and the inside of the kettle will look great. Now let's talk about your coffee maker. Whether it's a drip coffee maker or one of the fancy Nespresso Keurig type situations, you can do the same thing regardless. You're gonna fill the reservoir with white vinegar. Then you're gonna put a cup under where the cup would normally go. You're just gonna hit run, and you're gonna run through a few vinegar cycles. Then you're gonna dump out the reservoir. You're gonna give it a good cleaning with soapy water, make sure it's nice and clean. You're gonna fill it with water, and then you're gonna run through a few water-only cycles. This is gonna get rid of that vinegar flavor, so again, you don't have vinegar French roast tomorrow morning for breakfast. Water hardness will depend on where you live and where your water supply is coming from. And the way you know you have hard water is how quickly you get that hard water buildup in your bathroom and your kitchen. It'll also be indicative if you have hard water, if you're looking in your toilet and you see kind of those brown or rust colored stains that appear pretty quickly that are really stubborn and really hard to get rid of. So let's talk specifically about using white vinegar to remove hard water stains. Does it work? The answer is yes. However, you have to stay on top of it, and it does require a little bit of effort to get the job done. So if we're looking at faucets or taps, areas around taps where you have hard water buildup, there are a couple of different ways that you can approach getting rid of that buildup. The easiest way is to take a bag, fill it about halfway with white vinegar, tie it off with an elastic band under your faucet so that it can kind of soak and let all of that crusty hard water come off while it's soaking. You can do this for shower heads as well. When it comes to your toilets, if you're noticing that you have kind of those brown or rust colored stains from hard water, you can get rid of excess water in the toilet by pushing it down the chute with your toilet bowl brush and then applying vinegar in a spray and dousing it repeatedly. You can also fill the bowl with vinegar and kind of let it sit. This might be a time where you want to bring in extra strength vinegar or cleaning vinegar, which has a higher percentage of acidic acid, anywhere between 6 and 10%. If you have matte black finishes in your bathroom, which we do, vinegar and water is safe to use. The idea here is you don't want to use anything abrasive that can scratch the mat. Now, if you feel uncomfortable with this at all, feel free to check with your manufacturer, but that's what we do and it is fine. A lot of the times I will see information surface and I'm just like, no, you are making people work harder than they need to because you are not recommending what's really going to get the job done right the first time with the least amount of effort. So a couple of examples here would be using vinegar to get rid of pet stains. No, you'd have to use a lot of vinegar and there's no guarantee that it's going to remove the odor or the stain. What you want to use to remove pet stains is an enzyme-based pet stain remover. Why enzymes? Because enzymes that have been developed specifically to remove pet stains and odors will find and attack the very odor-causing proteins and molecules and whatever else exists in the pet stain, attack them and get rid of them. Vinegar simply cannot do that. The second case where we see this is when people recommend using vinegar in the laundry room. And you know what? I was guilty of doing this for a long time. When I spent some time at the P&G headquarters learning about laundry detergents and Downy Rinse and Refresh, which is like a holy grail laundry product, I learned specifically that when you're adding vinegar to your laundry, you have to add it at the right time, which is at the rinse phase during your wash cycle. So what are you going to do? Open your machine and add it in? If you have a top load, sure, but if you have a front load, you really can't do that. And you might say, oh, I'll put it into my fabric softener compartment. Well, guess what? Your fabric softener compartment can't hold 5 cups of white vinegar, which is exactly how much you would need to accomplish what Downy Rinse and Refresh can do in about a capful. So this is not a commercial for Downy Rinse and Refresh, but I am saying that when I learn new information, I get it out to you, I disseminate it, but I can't go back and correct like all the 800 or 1,000 old videos that I have. I'm just telling you what I've learned and what's new. So please stop using vinegar to soften up your laundry and deodorize it and switch to a citric acid-based product that can do the same thing, but actually do it and do it effectively. Can you use vinegar to clean your floors? This is a little bit of a yes and a little bit of a no. Any guesses? Well, let me tell you. You can use vinegar in a bucket or a spray bottle mixed with water. If you're in a bucket, please use hot water. It's so much more effective. And about a pinky nail size squirt of dish soap, okay? Less is more when mopping the floor. If you put too much soap, your floors are going to be sticky. You can use this to mop your tile, linoleum, and vinyl floors. It's going to work like a charm. It cuts grease, it deodorizes, voila. Now, the type of floors that you don't want to use vinegar on would be hardwood and natural stone. Hardwood floors have specific finishes or coatings, and you just don't want to mess with that. So that's why I stay away from vinegar on hardwood floors. Really, I just stick to water and a little bit of dish soap and call it a day. For stone floors, the reason you want to stay away from vinegar is because vinegar is an acid and it can cause etching on the floors. And you've spent a lot of money on those floors. You do not want to see etching. So please find an appropriate cleaner and stay away from the vinegar. Now I know, because every time we do a video about vinegar, we get the comment section filling up with people who say, but I hate the smell of vinegar. I want to clean with it, but it makes me gag. What do I do? Okay, so first of all, listen, we've all been through COVID. You might have a mask lying around. You can throw the mask on, okay? That's number one. Number two, you can turn on an air purifier and open a window. Just let it air out. The smell of vinegar will dissipate. It'll just take a bit of time. But you can also scent your vinegar to help it kind of smell better. I'm not going to say that it's going to smell like a perfume that you want to wear, but I am going to say that it's going to make it a little bit more tolerable. So number one is an easy hack. You can just fill your spray bottle or your container with vinegar that you're going to be using for cleaning, and you can add 10 or 20 drops of your favorite essential oil to the vinegar. Ones that work really well are peppermint and orange. Okay, you can kind of shake that up and use it. Now again, it's really going to mask the smell. It's not going to totally get rid of it. It's going to kind of smell like orange scented vinegar, but it definitely does the trick. The second thing you can do is kind of create like, let's be honest, it's like moonshine, okay? So here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna grab a mason jar, you're gonna peel some citrus fruit, orange, lemons, limes, whatever you got. You're gonna throw the peels into the jar, and then you're gonna fill it with vinegar. Screw the lid on, let it sit in a dark area, like under your kitchen sink, for 3 weeks or so. Then you're gonna get out a mesh strainer, you're gonna dump the vinegar back into the jar, and you're gonna toss those peels. That vinegar is now scented, okay? So you're gonna have citrus scented vinegar. It is very potent, it is very powerful, and you can use it in your cleaning recipes, whether you want to dilute it or use it straight. Now that you're a bit of a vinegar expert and you know how to decipher what you see online from truth versus clickbait, I want to know in the comments down below, what cleaning misinformation have you seen online? Have you Googled something and your gut just tells you absolutely not? What is the wild and wacky that you have seen out there? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.